Our 4 hours of coverage continuing here from Big Ten Media Days in Chicago. Dave Revson back with you, and here with the defending Big Ten champion Michigan State Spartans, Josiah Price. Tight end is with us. We've got Riley Bullough as well, and RJ Shelton. And guys, I want to talk about the season ahead and the season behind as well, but I know you guys suffered a tremendous loss as a team. One of your former teammates, Mike Sadler, passing away quite tragically late Saturday night. Give us a sense for what kind of person Mike Sadler was. I think we've read some stuff. Those of us who follow him on Twitter know what a great sense of humor he has. But who was this person whose life was taken so tragically and so early?
Yeah, it was a pretty rough weekend for all of Spartan Nation. Really hard for us to grip with just the reality that Mike passed away and he's no longer here. It's still even hard for us to talk about just with how raw it's been. I mean, it's just 48 hours out of the accident. But just to try and honor Mike as much as we can, his legacy, the kind of person he was. He stood for everything that we stand for as Spartans, and then he did it, everything, and he had such a great sense of humor about him, intelligence, just so many aspirations, just got so many things accomplished in such a short amount of time. It's just so hard to believe and really grasp that he's not with us any longer. So all of us are really just going to try and do everything we can to let his legacy live on as long as we can and forever.
Yeah, you know, Mike is someone who always had a smile on his face. He was always joking around with everyone. He was a guy who truly was a friend to everyone on the team. And always bringing, you know, a light to our locker room. So I think that's how he'll be remembered. He was a great guy, a great friend. I've known him since I was about a junior in high school. So he's just someone, you know, who I'm grateful to have known and known his family. He truly was a great guy.
Yeah, same here. He's Michigan State to me. When I was freshman coming in, he was the first person I ran into. Took me in like a brother. And you know, we missed a great soul, and you know, just got to pray and just make sure, you know, that you just cherish life, because it can go by so fast, and you know, you never know when your time's up. But I mean, for him, you know, we're gonna live through him, and we're gonna, you know, for me, I know I'm gonna do it for him, because you know, he wanted me to do that. So.
Well, our condolences to all of you on your loss. Just absolutely tragic news, and the entire Big Ten mourns with the Michigan State family as well as the Nebraska family, as I know you guys do as well. It's tough to turn the page to football. I mean, I do think it becomes somewhat irrelevant in the context, but that is what we're here to talk about. So let's get ready for this season. I think in order to do that, you have to look back on last season and all that you guys accomplished, winning the Big Ten, making it to the college football playoff. As you think back to last year, what are you proudest of in terms of the accomplishments of this team, Josiah?
Just everything we were able to fight through. We were able to fight through Connor's injury and the Ohio State game with playing with Tyler and Damian, stepping up big time. Our defense played unbelievable that game. And just being able to push through and win so many close games. I mean, the Michigan game, we had our backs against the wall. People say it's a miracle, whatever. We made a great play at the very end of the game to win the game. And then the Iowa game coming down, 22-play drive. It's almost unheard of in college football. 9.5 minutes, something like that. Just being able to push through all those big games and coming through at the very end of the game and winning big games, that's probably the thing that we're most proud of here.
Yeah, I would just say last year, you know, week in and week out was a challenge. Whether it was we had injuries or we were, you know, just playing tough opponents. The Big Ten is a hard league to play in. And last year we had a great group of guys, great leadership, and great chemistry. So we had a lot of fun last year. Obviously, in the end, we wanted to, you know, take that next step, play in the national championship and win it. But, you know, we feel like everything happens for a reason. We learned a lot. And we got a lot of guys coming back as well, some younger guys that are going to step up. So, you know, we can't wait to put the pads on in about 10 days.
Right, yeah, we just battled through a lot, just to piggyback on what they said. You know, we battled through a lot last year. You know, now this upcoming season, now we know what we need to do. So, you know, we just battled through things, and we took care of business.
You know what you need to do, and yet there are shockingly few people who feel as if you can do it. You look at this program now, 5 11-win seasons in the last 6 years, and yet, as you guys are well aware, I'm sure, there are very few of the assembled media members who, if asked, would choose Michigan State as the favorite heading into this year. What do you say to those who are doubting this team coming into the year, RJ?
I mean, I just think that's just Michigan State as a whole always being doubted. But we come back and find a way to do it. And we're the underdogs, as you can tell. And we just come to play, and we just trust one another to get the job done.
Yeah, you know, we like it. Me personally, I like it. We don't need to be the spotlight of Media Day or, you know, the ones picked to win the Big Ten. Our spotlight is truly under the lights during games and big games, and we prove that we can win those games. And, you know, this is just another year where we're going to have to, you know, prove ourselves again. And we got the guys that can do it, and I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, Coach D kind of always talks about it doesn't matter what everyone else is saying, and all of us firmly believe that we can win the Big Ten, that we will win the Big Ten, and those type of things. And that's all we need to do is have the belief in ourselves. And like Riley said, we kind of like having our back against the wall and have people picking against us.
Do you think you like it because he likes it? I mean, I'm of the fervent belief that he likes it. There's no doubt in my mind anymore. Maybe you can address that first.
If we don't like it, he's going to make us like it.
Right.
That's just how it is.
But I think he would feel uncomfortable if it were any other way. I just think that's kind of the way.
It fits his personality. It fits his personality to kind of be the underdog. So that really does, you know, feed us and kind of gives us that mentality. And I think in the past, that really has helped us and given us an edge in big games.
I think it's easier. It brings out the best in you when people are telling you you're not good enough, you're not going to do this, you're not going to do that. So I think that's kind of why Coach D likes it so much. It's a lot harder when people are telling you, oh, you guys are so great, you're going to win, you're going to win, you're going to win. Well, then you kind of sit back and relax a little bit and get a little satisfied with what you've done, and that's what we try to never do.
And let's be honest, RJ, it makes his job easier, right? He doesn't have to talk you out of anything.
Right. Yeah.
He has to talk you into something, and it seems to me that's easier as a coach, right?
Exactly, yeah. You know, when it comes down to where, you know, it's Michigan State's down 8, you know, they're not going to win or anything like that. It's just in our DNA. Like we were talking about earlier, we just go ahead and we just play. We just let our pads talk, and we don't care what anyone else does. We just focus on us, and you know, that's why we've been so successful.
And Riley, as you were saying, so many big games under the lights where you guys have performed well through the years. We all know the record against top 10 opponents. It's the best of any team in the history of college football, and this current group of Spartans has had a lot to do with it. And yet, the last game didn't go the way you guys wanted it to. Obviously, the Alabama game was the counterexample of that. So what did you learn from that game that you think you can carry into this season that might be able to help you, RJ?
My preparation for the game, for the week, just making sure I know what I'm doing, watching little things, asking questions, just making sure I'm fully prepared for every game. And I'm going to take that into this season as well, just my preparation on my game.
I would say, as surprising, you know, as this may sound, playing a team like Alabama, even though we lost 38-0, you know, I gained confidence from that game. I feel like I can play, you know, with the best in college football. And even though, you know, we lost by that much, it was little things here and there that if they would have gone our way, I feel like it would have been a different outcome. Not to take anything away from Alabama. They're a great team. But, you know, I truly think that with the guys that our coaches have brought into our program that we can play at that level. We can play on that stage and be successful. And I'm looking forward to doing that this year. I
think to piggyback off of what Riley said, I played pretty decent in that game, and I gained confidence as well, knowing like, hey, everyone talks about Alabama, the SEC, this and that. This is Michigan State, and this is the Big Ten, and we know we can play there now. And, I mean, it was a 10-0 game at halftime, and we threw a pick in the end zone. If we score a touchdown there, it's 7-10 going into halftime. That was a close game. Then a couple things happened against our way in the second half and really blew it out and made it look worse than it was. But we know, and I think as far as something to change is just the preparation, like RJ said, and getting guys to believe in ourselves and our team and not think, oh, you know, this is Alabama and it's okay to get beat on a play here or there, but be able to bounce back and not let it happen again type of thing.
Okay, so that being said, you head into this year with a lot of question marks, at least externally, because you did lose so many marquee players. One of them is Connor Cook, your quarterback. So give us a sense, and I'm going to ask the offensive guys here, Josiah and RJ, the guys who are the pass catchers. Give us a sense of the two guys, Tyler O'Connor and Damian Terry, who I think are seen as battling for that starting job, and what each one brings.
Yeah, I would throw Brian Lewerke's name in there, too, a redshirt freshman from Arizona. He played really well this spring, too.
Okay.
But all three of those guys, I've said it all day, I have complete and utter confidence in them leading this program to a championship, whichever one coach decides with, whichever one plays the best in fall camp. They're all great quarterbacks. You saw what Tyler and Damian were able to do a little bit against Ohio State this last year and just throughout the season. Tyler played a little bit against Maryland, too, I think. But we know those guys are great quarterbacks, and they're going to be able to lead this offense to whatever we can lead this offense to. And I think it more relies on our offensive line, our receivers, our senior leaders, the tight ends, the other guys like that. It's not just all on the quarterback. It's the whole unit. And I think that we're going to have a pretty good offensive unit.
Yeah, I mean, just what he was talking about, you know, we work as a unit. You know, quarterback's got to do what he has to do, wide receivers catch, all linemen block, running backs run. So it's just a collective group effort. And, you know, I am comfortable who is ever at quarterback. And, you know, our team is as well.
O-line, I think, was surprisingly a bit of an issue last year. Injuries had a lot to do with that. There was no doubt about it. Josiah, you kind of tangentially, you know, are a part of that group. You lose some big-time guys. I mean, you lose 3 stalwarts on that line, 2 guys who were All-Americans. What did you see in the spring in terms of how that group's coming along?
I think the injuries have almost helped us from last season. So it gave some other guys who wouldn't have probably played a little bit of an opportunity. Now, they might not have been perfect last season, but it gave them a little bit of that game experience. And now I feel like we have 6, 7, 8 guys that I feel pretty confident with. And some of them haven't played 40 games like Jack Allen or Jack Conklin or Donovan Clark have, but they still have the potential and the talent there. And it's going to come down to this fall camp coming together as a unit, because you have to be able to work together with each other, especially at tight end. I got to be able to work with my tackles, and not having Jack there anymore, it's going to be a little different. But spring ball went really well, and we still had a couple guys that didn't play in spring ball. And so now with fall camp coming around, it's going to be fun to get to come together as a unit with the offensive line and really pound out our identity this season.
It's interesting. I asked Coach D'Antonio about this. I'll ask you about it, Riley. It's one of the, I think, a couple returning members from your leadership council, right? I believe there's only 2.
Yeah, there's only a couple of us.
And
yep.
You are one of them.
Yep.
So that is a big void. I mean, if these are the dozen guys that you look to for leadership and there's only a couple of them left, all of a sudden the onus is on you to become kind of a super leader among the group. So what do you do as one of the few guys who's been looked at in the past as a labeled leader on this team?
Yeah, but the one thing that comes to mind for me is that's exciting. It's exciting that we have new leaders who are going to emerge on our team. And me personally, just, you know, for fulfilling that role as being not only a leader of the defense, but as a whole team. That's really what I've tried to work on this offseason. I think our chemistry has gotten a lot better since January when we first came in after the bowl game. But, you know, I don't think we have a shortage of leaders on our team. These 2 guys right here and some others put all that together. I feel like we have a strong leadership council.
Another interesting area, I think, for you guys is going to be the defensive line. You have Malik McDowell, who might end up being an All-American, certainly has All-American type potential. And then a lot of question marks, again, at least externally. And I know you guys know more, so you see those guys playing in front of you all the time. Who should we know about on the defensive line that maybe we don't?
Well, I think one guy that sticks out to me, a younger guy, is Raekwon Williams. I think hopefully he'll be a starter for us as we move forward. But there's guys that are going to have to step up that haven't really gotten that game experience, like Josiah was saying, some guys on the offense. But that's part of it. Everyone goes through it. And, you know, I believe we got the guys that can do that, come in and play, and not just play, but play at an extremely high level. And that's what they're expected to do. And, you know, in my opinion, they're going to do it.
I want to take it off the field a little bit. Josiah, I know you do a lot of missionary work and have been all over the world in that capacity. What are the trips, what are the missions you've been on that have resonated with you the most and that you take back here with you?
Yeah, the first one I went on was in New Orleans after Hurricane Katrina. In middle school, I went with my family. That's kind of where it all started. And then I've been to Honduras twice throughout my growing up. And then since I've been in college, I went to South Africa for a week. And then I went to Australia for 3 weeks, but that was more a study abroad trip. But I think that's just a testament of our program and what Coach D'Antonio preaches and the way I was raised with my family, to just always give back, to always be a giver and don't be a taker. Always try and be a light to other people, and try and make an impact, a lasting impact, not just one that's going to fade away, but something that's going to take someone and it's going to change their life, and really pour out to them and spend quality time with them and help them grow in their life and make a difference.
Well, it's great that you're doing that. We heard from Nate Sudfeld at the luncheon last year, who's very involved as well. I know there are a lot of Big Ten players who are, and again, hats off to you for taking some of the little personal time that you do have and helping to make the world a better place.
Thanks.
I also wanted to ask you, on social media, you made some comments about whether or not student athletes ought to be paid. You had a pretty strong stance on that. For those who didn't see it, tell us what you said and why you feel that way.
Yeah, whenever Twitter's brought up, I instantly get nervous. So I try to watch what I put on there.
Right. But it's a platform.
Yeah,
it's a platform to express your opinions.
From my standpoint, even in the last 3 years, we've had a lot of improvements in what college athletes receive, money-wise, extra help. So, my biggest thing from that tweet was just, don't expect stuff from others. Go get it yourself. Don't sit back and complain while you can, go make a difference. So that was my biggest thing. And, for me, I'm just, extremely blessed to be in a position I am, and to be able to tweet something like that and have people that follow me and listen to me is, a blessing in itself.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I think we heard a number of years ago from Kirk Cousins. I don't know if you guys ever have watched his speech at the Big Ten kickoff lunch, and I introduced him, and he talked.
Yeah.
It was an unbelievable speech, and he talked about all the blessings of being a player, being in that leadership position, and what a privilege that is to be able to convey your messages. So, if you carry yourself in the right way, use the platform in the right way, it's an incredibly powerful tool. I want to leave you guys with a look at the schedule. RJ, I'm going to start with you. We're going to put it up on the screen here. I think there's interesting games in the non-conference, and this is part of the goal now, particularly with the college football playoff. I mean, you look at Notre Dame and BYU. Those are two challenging games for you guys out of conference. You have to go to South Bend. What stands out, RJ, as you look at that schedule?
All quality opponents. It's going to be we got a couple games at home. Obviously, Ohio State, Michigan, as you can see. But, they're going to be tough games. We got to prepare. But it all starts with Furman, September 2nd. And we got to take care of them first and just go one step at a time. So, you
like the fact, Riley, that you've got a game like Notre Dame looming there as your first power conference opponent? How does that impact your preparation?
Yeah, I wish it was week 2. Because we have that bye snuck in there week 2. I know we're just going to be itching to play. But when I look at that, I just see a lot of great home games for Spartan Nation. It's going to be a lot of fun there. So I just can't wait for my senior year to have a lot of special moments in that stadium.
Well, guys, really fun to visit with all three of you. Josiah, Riley, RJ, thanks a lot for your time. Congratulations on the Big Ten championship. We look forward to seeing you for practice on our tour.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having us.